Hi, everybody. Welcome back to SecurityGuideTV.com. This is episode 1693. Boy, am I tired. My next guest, Mr. Barrett Lyon with Netography.com. Mr. Barrett, welcome, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Today, we're going to talk about data visualization in the age of COVID-19. What got you into data visualization?
Well, yeah, so I started my career as a penetration tester. And one of the things I used to do was, kind of before you break into something, you kind of case the joint. So I would end up drawing these really articulate uh, maps of what people's networks look like. And then I ended up writing software that automated that for me. And then I turned that into kind of a larger kind of project. And yeah, from that point forward, I've always been just kind of a visual thinker. And so visualizing what's happening on the network or what's happening to different systems, it's really important for me to understand. And without seeing things, I can't really make sense out of them.
Tell me about the Opti Project.
The Opti Project was something I started in college. We took the internet mapping stuff that we were doing for corporations and things, and I made a bet with some friends, and I said, I bet I could use the same software to map the entire internet. And they thought that was pretty funny. It was a $50 bet, and back then Slashdot was kind of a big deal. So I was posting my progress as I was mapping the internet on a little web page, and it looked really bad, like squiggly lines. It was horrible. And so they thought it was funny, so they posted it on Slashdot. And the day that it went on their front page was the day I actually got a complete image of the internet. And so it's in the Museum of Modern Art. It's in all kinds of different textbooks. It's free to use for nonprofit usages. And so that map of the internet was just kind of like a project. But I mean, if you've seen pictures of the internet, it's probably that one.
So tell us why visualization is so important.
If you can't see what's going on, it's kind of impossible to make good informed decisions. And sometimes that data just doesn't bubble up in an Excel spreadsheet or some other weird kind of mechanism to see information like a terminal window or something like that. And if you think of it, visualization is really actually situational awareness and improving your ability to see what's happening what's happening to you in general. So I'm a pilot, and we don't just have one gauge in the airplane. You have an entire cockpit of information, and the more information you can receive and digest and make really thoughtful decisions out of it, the better. So the same thing applies to computers and computer science and security and just most things in general, really.
Tell me the difference between real-time and post-process data.
Yeah, so in the security world, folks have a really difficult time with real-time visualization. It's tricky. Web browsers are kind of limited, but these days you can do some pretty amazing, incredible stuff. So the folks I work with at my job, we've hired folks that do video game design. And we've taken kind of the elements of video games where they can react, like Call of Duty and things like that, can react incredibly fast to information. So we're using those types of techniques to really visualize what we would think is a feed of different types of stuff. And that's really great. The real-time stuff is really great for making split decisions really fast on maybe a security incident that's happening or something that you may need to have immediacy to. And then the kind of the post-process data, which is mostly what a lot of security products these days provide, 5-minute roll-ups and things like that. That data is really great for making longer-term, better decisions based off of kind of a historical view of what you might have been seeing over a period of time versus the immediacy from the real-time stuff.
So where does security data and visualization intersect?
Well, it really depends on what you're visualizing and what you're looking for. I mean, a lot of security is hunting for that needle in the haystack, right? So, if you're doing something with auditors and you want to show somebody that, certain ports are only accessible on this certain machine, you could use a real-time tool to do that and verify that kind of information. If you're tracking a security incident, real-time data is critical. So we've lost a lot of what used to be kind of called the border of network borders. It's, applications are spread across multiple multiple cloud environments. They're kind of splattered all over the place. So it's really hard to get like one really concise view. And so, the techniques and stuff we've been building kind of create that one single pane of glass. So we can synthesize things like what TCP dump used to look like. And we can get that out of the cloud, which is really useful. And picking through all of that data and running algorithms against it is really key. But being able to see what's going on and actually visually understand it, for me, as a visual learner, it's really important.
How do you take advantage of the browser using this?
Well, the browser does some pretty amazing stuff these days. I'm sure you've seen. I mean, for example, we're doing a video chat through the browser right now. Browsers can do pretty incredible graphical renderings these days. And if you take advantage of that and you can combine that with like a WebSocket feed, and then you could take all of that information and combine that with alerts and different types of stuff, you could get a real-time, beautiful display of what's happening across everything without the processor exploding these days, which is kind of neat. I'd love to show it to you sometime, but yeah, it's pretty cool stuff these days.
Yeah, well, let's schedule a show and we'll put that up there and look at it with our browser. Demonstrate that. What's unique about Netography's approach to this?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, I guess it's called data exhaust. A lot of that gets deleted. Splunk is an interesting tool, but it's more of a post-processing tool. There's a lot of fatigue in Splunk usage. So what we've tried to do is take all this weird data that's available, flow logs, for example, stuff off of Amazon, Google, and different cloud platforms and a lot of old physical platforms, and really kind of rescale that data. So we might get 10 points of information. We could scale that up to maybe 60 by running different databases and kind of correlating things. And then taking that information and then running that against algorithms real time, and then also forking that off in a mechanism that allows you to see all of that stuff real time. So the things that you would see typically in a SOC or in a NOC, those charts and graphs and all that kind of stuff is kind of almost passe compared to what we've been doing. And we could provide that on a simple browser. And if you're working from home and you can't have that whole SOC or NOC view, we could provide that without much work. So it's a pretty unique approach to security, and it's something different. A lot of it kind of came out from our old denial of service defense era, when we built a company called Prolexic, which became Akamai Security Services, and then another company called DefenseNet, which became F5 Silverline DDoS defense. So we're taking these techniques and these different data feeds and then providing these tools that we used to use for these cloud services and putting them in the hands of enterprises.
What's next for Netography?
Oh boy. Well, so we started with, like I said, data exhaust kind of on the network layer. So flow logs and SFlow and NetFlow, VPC flow. And then we went and created some agents that also can package up that information in a secure way and send it to us encrypted, or make it traverse firewalls and things like that. And then I think the next big step is moving into the application. So if you think about the application, most applications run over HTTP these days. HTTP is basically the protocol of all web apps. And the biggest web server in that world would be Nginx. So we used to be able to sniff the network, sniff the wire, be able to see all kinds of application and interactions and what's happening there, but it's all encrypted now. But where it's not encrypted is inside the application itself. So inside Nginx, for example. So we may be creating modules that allow the network we might see something on the network, and then it could trigger an actual packet, like kind of a sniffer-like sequence inside of an application. So
Barrett Lyon, Netography.com. Mr. Barrett, always a pleasure to speak with you. I learned so much. Thanks for coming on Security Guy TV.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, see you later, man.